have a set of guiding principles. The preconceptions and generalizations regarding fundamental issues of one's life and of the entire world. No matter where we go, no matter what we do, we tend never to abandon our beliefs. These are things Prospector believes on Rock 107.
I believe that somewhere out there's a cat who looked at a Roomba and said, finally, a chauffeur. I believe every time I set my cruise control, my car quietly judges my life choices. I believe robots are stealing my luggage at the airport and replacing it with identical luggage filled with slightly heavier socks.
Well, now we know the reason he turned out the way he did. That was Things Prospector Believes on Rock 107. Breaking the news that's already broken. It's time for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
NASA is eliminating several departments. Ironically, they're doing it to create more space. Denny's added an egg surcharge. Don't worry, dirty utensils, lumpy coffee, and salmonella remain absolutely free of charge. A Cheech and Chong documentary hits theaters in April. Expect viewership to be high, and also a lot of people to watch.
Prospector ruins everything, even the news. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Rock 107, good morning. It's Prospector's show, and you're probably on it a lot. Maybe too much. Kate, social media. It's awesome, and it's infuriating at the same time, right?
I would agree.
But I did see something on Reddit last week that just made me chuckle, and I thought, man, this is really funny. It's something we should definitely do on the show, and that is ruin a band's name by taking one letter out of the name. So Motley Crue becomes Moley Crue. Bad Company becomes Ad Company, like it's some kind of ad agency now.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. The Lash instead of the Clash.
Yeah, see, these are perfect. You got another one?
Yeah, Dire Traits.
Dire Traits. There you go. See, these are things that we could do just by taking a letter out of that. That's what we're looking for here this morning. And let's start on the rock lines, okay?
All right.
Rock 107, ruin a band name. Take a letter out and make it happen.
Hey, how about a little REO Speedwagon this morning?
Rich checking in on the rock lines, ruining a band by taking a letter out of its name, Rock 107.
Hey, Prospector, how about taking the W out of the Who and call it the Ho?
There you go. That's exactly what I wanted to hear this morning.
Getting a little risky there.
I don't think that's risky at all. We're talking about a garden instrument.
Faith from your Facebook said, Gus and Roses. And James from our TikTok said...
I just enjoy that one. I'm sorry.
I know. You're really enjoying that one.
That's a good one.
Lose the N in the Scorpions and become Scorpios.
Okay, I kind of like that one, too. One in on the rock lines via text, 1-888-ROCK 107, Kid Row instead of Skid Row.
Okay.
Let's hit the rock lines again. Rock 107, hook me up, ruin a band name, take one letter out of it. Rock 107.
Take the R out of heart, and you got the heat.
You got heat. There you go. You know, I didn't even, as you said it, I'm like, yeah, I don't get it until you actually said heat. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Got one from Open Mic on the Rock 107 app.
How about instead of quiet riot, you have quiet rot?
Some of these get a little gross, like accidentally, too.
You think?
A little bit.
All right.
Adam from your Twitter said, Ink Floyd and Earl Jam.
He just doesn't like peas. That's
yeah,
what it is with
apparently.
Adam.
And Jim from our TikTok said, Ron Maiden.
See, I like the ones that became names, like the guy who called it with Ed Zeppelin earlier, Ron Maiden. These are fantastic. Bob and Archibald, can you top it? Rock 107.
Yo, how about AC/DC? Take out the A, you got the CDC.
The CDC. Gee, I wonder where I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Rock 107, ruin a band name by removing one letter.
Take the S away from Rolling Stones, make it Rolling Tones.
The Rolling Tones, which is still kind of good, right?
I think so. I've seen them plenty of times.
Sure, why wouldn't you see the Rolling Tones?
I like it. Heather from your Instagram said, Age Against the Machine.
Yes.
And Bob from your Facebook said, Grateful Dad.
That's how you ruin a band name, by removing a letter on Rock 107.
107.
Area code 214, Dallas, Texas. In an effort to go green, I just used rainwater to fill my bong. Area code 601, Jackson, Mississippi. They ran out of cups, so I just drank out of a cowbell. And from Orlando, Florida, area code 407. Important question. How many Frosties does it take to fill a bathtub?
You hit send, and we hit the floor laughing. Intoxicated on Rock 107.
Warren, Michigan, area code 586. Apparently, I ordered a pogo stick last night. I can't even be mad about that. Charlotte, North Carolina, area code 704. The lawn was on fire, but I fixed it. And from the 619, San Diego, California, I got lost in a forest last night. This morning, I realized the forest was just 6 trees on campus.
Proof that booze and cell phones don't mix. Intoxicated on Rock 107.
Area code 585, Rochester, New York. Evidently, I did my philosophy paper last night. It's not bad either. Newark, New Jersey, area code 973. We ate a 40-pack of string cheese and watched an entire washing machine cycle. And from San Mateo, California, area code 650. So high, I think I just ordered a magic bullet. Reply from the 650. Did you call within the first 18 minutes? Can I have the free one?
Hey, we found him in your telephone. Intoxicated on Rock 107.
Ramones at Northeast PA's Classic Rock, your Burger Mania station. It's Prospector Show on Rock 107, and I think it's important, Kate, for us to understand each other just a little bit better.
Well, we could take a step towards doing that if we spend a little time in each other's heads.
And now it's time for another episode of 1 Minute Inside a Woman's Head.
It's so nice out. I love how it feels like spring. I don't even have to be bundled up in a heavy coat. I can feel the sun's warmth on my skin. Sure, it's making me age prematurely and probably wrinkling my arms, but it sure feels good. Come on, who doesn't love an early spring? Hey, maybe the groundhog was right. He said it would be an early spring. Maybe Phil really is psychic, a prognosticator. That's amazing. I wonder if I could get to Punxsutawney in time to get the Powerball numbers.
And that was another episode of 1 Minute Inside a Woman's Head.
So if you hear that and you're thinking, well, that's Prospector, it's Kate, they're always making fun of the women. Why are they ripping on women?
Don't worry. We'll make fun of the men after the break on Rock 107.
Prospector Show on Rock 107. Kate, just before the commercials, we did something I would describe as enlightening.
We spent a minute inside a woman's head.
Now it's time for the man's head.
But a man's attention span is so much shorter.
Another episode of A Few Seconds Inside a Man's Head.
Well, it certainly is warm today. Hey, maybe we're getting an early spring, which means that better look at the hot college girls walking to class. Yeah, man.
And that was another episode of A Few Seconds Inside a Man's Head.
Life's pretty tough right now. There's plenty of bad news, but it's not all bad. It's time for the brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
A woman in New Jersey just returned a library book that was 99 years overdue. Her grandfather checked it out in 1926 and never returned it. It's a book called Homemade Toys for Girls and Boys. The library no longer...
Ladies and gentlemen, grab the kids, call your neighbors, and gather around the radio.
It's now time to announce the winner of Prospector's Jam Bag of the Day, as decided by you at rock107.com.
We uncover the most baffling, ridiculous, pathetic, cockeyed, laughable, preposterous blunders in the world of misdeeds. Nominee number 1.
They say once you pop, you can't stop, but this guy's probably relieved that isn't always the case. A 28-year-old woman in Florida named Shanika Shardal was arrested after attacking a man at a 7-Eleven in Orlando last Thursday. Police say Shanika walked up to the male customer, called him a B-word, and hit him across the face with a Pringles can. He suffered a significant cut on his right eyebrow and under his eye, causing him to bleed. It sounds like she only popped him once, then stopped and ran away. Police found her down the street, and yes, she still had the Pringle can with her because why not? Shanika told police the victim was being rude to her, which he denies. An employee says the guy wasn't doing anything wrong, but right before he was hit, he was notifying them that there was a guy lying down on the side of the building, so maybe that had something to do with it.
Nominee number 2.
A 35-year-old naked man in New Hampshire was arrested on Sunday, and he had quite the afternoon. The man allegedly stole a car, then caused an accident on the highway, sustaining minor injuries, but otherwise he was okay physically. His mental state's a little more ambiguous. After the crash, the man took off all his clothes, abandoned them on the shoulder of the highway, walked across the highway, and left the scene of the accident. Multiple drivers called the cops after dodging him. Police found the man wandering down the highway, and they were fairly sure it was him because he was still completely naked. They identified the man as Sean Wiener. Yeah, so this guy's naked and his name is Wiener. I guess that's the part of the story any 13-year-old would love. Wiener was charged with indecent exposure, lewdness, reckless conduct, disorderly conduct, and littering. I'm guessing for the clothes he left. That's just for the aftermath. There'll be separate charges for the theft and the crash, both of which are still under investigation.
And the winner is
the woman who was charged with aggravated battery using a Pringles can. You're the Yam Bag of the Day, and we'll move on to Friday's Yam Bag of the Week competition. Keep it here for all the nominees for Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day, weekday mornings on Rock 107. Thanks for listening to Prospector's Prime Cuts podcast. Be sure to catch us live weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m. on Rock 107 or online at rock107.com or the Rock 107 app, a free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cuts.